Today, Sam Anderson will be presenting Social Media 101. Sam Anderson.
Well, to start, I will tell you, I planned on using this system this morning, and thank goodness I got here early because I got here with a bad thumb drive, and then I couldn't get the system to work. So if you are planning on using this, I do recommend that you get here early because that's the way it goes. Social Media 101. This is the presentation that I wished I had seen or worked on a year ago before I started dipping my toe into social media. Because when I worked on this presentation, I learned a lot that was a little scary, and I learned that I have probably gone about picking my social media in the incorrect way, certainly not the most effective way, but I've learned enough now that I think I'm going to be doing better in the future. For those of you not familiar with what social media is nothing more than a vehicle to get you attention on the internet. If you want to be seen and heard throughout the world, you need to pick a vehicle that's going to get you where you out and about. I started my business in 1989, and there was really no internet at that point in time. So I was not very well versed in social media. I put a website up in 2004, and that was the extent of my exposure to the world with my business. But what got me interested in social media was when I published my cookbook. I'm not a big marketing person, and for that reason, I had picked iBooks because iBooks markets for their authors. That was the reason that I picked that. I could write the book, publish it with Apple, and then they would market it all over the world. What I learned after I published the book is that they are not going to feature my book unless I develop a presence. So that is why I am working right now to try to create a presence for myself on the internet. So this is what I've learned when I put this presentation together. We live in a huge world, we all know that. There's over 7 billion people in the world. So I'm like, yes, 7 billion possible people for my book. Now it's out in front of the world. The history of the internet usage is this. When I started my business, a year after I started my business, there were only 313,000 computers hooked to the internet. No wonder I didn't know anything about the internet at that point. I keep turning this thing off. In '96, you're going to see this is growing exponentially. 10 million, 2005, 1 billion, 2010, 2 billion, 14, 3 billion. Today, 3.4 billion people on the internet. We have 7 billion people in the world. That's 46% of the population. That's huge. Okay, now I'm really excited. 3.4 billion people might want to read my book. Not so fast. My book's in English. So there's only about 1 billion people now that are going to want to read my book. Now I'm looking to see what countries that I could possibly market my book. And this is in hindsight. If I had gone about things methodically, this is what I would have done. Identify which countries used English in the workplace. Compare that to a list of where iBooks are sold. I only have 6 target countries now. Now I'm down to less than 500 million people. And because my book is about brain health and maintaining your brain health, I eliminated 52% of that market because they're 30 and under. Probably, when I was 30, I was invincible, didn't need any help with taking care of my brain. So I'm thinking my market is now 30 and over. Now I'm down to 221 million people. Biggest target will be the United States, but pretty good market in the United Kingdom and Australia. So those are where I'm going to target things. Now that I know my target market, what countries I want to go to, the age group, then I need to start deciding which social media site is best to target those people. I didn't do that, by the way, but I managed to pick 4 out of the top 10, so I'm pretty proud of myself. Facebook. Facebook's appeared to be the best vehicle for me. 1.6 billion people on Facebook, pretty amazing. The oldest demographic, it's an easy to use site. But what I have learned, and I learned when I was researching this talk, was that the organic reach, anything that I post on Facebook, not everything I post on Facebook is going to make it in front of my followers. I actually have a Facebook page dedicated to my cookbook with over 200 followers. But I learned from people that I work with and family members that things that I was posting was not reaching them. They weren't reaching them. And what I learned through my research is through algorithms, because there is so much content being put on Facebook on a daily basis, they've developed these algorithms to cut the content. So only 6% of what you post is actually making it to your followers, unless you pay money. They want you to boost those posts, and then they'll make sure that those get in front of the people that you want to see them. So Facebook's really not my vehicle. YouTube, interestingly, has turned out to be a pretty good vehicle for me. I have a channel with only 14 videos, but I showed you earlier in the pie chart, 71% of my target is the United States. Unfortunately, YouTube, 80% of their market, even though it's 1 billion, is 80% is outside of the US. Twitter is another social media site I chose. I'm not seeing that I have a lot of interaction, but I do like my Twitter for finding good articles that I post on my Facebook page. And last but not least, I have a LinkedIn account. So hopefully Apple will see I do have a presence. I just want you to remember, it's a huge world out there, so if you have something to sell, figure out who your target market is, and then pick the social media site that's going to get you to that target market. Thank you.